You were chosen. And God waited 2 hours to warn you, which led to the investigator being exposed. I didn't mean for you to hear this. I put off the moment for 2 hours because something secret was happening, and I wanted the truth to come out before you stepped forward again. The investigator you never saw with your eyes has already been found in the spiritual world. You need to pay close attention now because what was meant to hurt you is already starting to fall apart. Stay with these words, because the next few moments will show you why I slowed down time so you wouldn't walk blindly into a trap that was set up in secret. If your heart already feels the weight of this truth, comment, Amen. The delay you had was not just random frustration. When you wondered why things were taking so long, why a conversation didn't happen, or why a door stayed closed a little longer than you thought it would, that was me quietly holding back the clock. I saw what you couldn't see. I saw the one who was looking into your life, watching your every move, questioning your path, and trying to put together pieces of your story in ways that were never meant to help you. But before they could go through with their plan, I stepped in and told the truth about what they were looking into. Heaven does not see you as normal. You have felt like some people were watching, questioning, or quietly analyzing you because your life has a purpose that they don't understand. Some people saw how far you had come and wondered how you kept getting better after problems. Some people looked at your silence and couldn't figure out how you stayed calm during storms. They didn't know that music was with you every step of the way. Something important must happen in your spirit in the next few moments of this journey together. Before the truth goes deeper, please take a moment to like the video as a sign of support and agreement. This will help the word get out to others who are also waiting for confirmation of what heaven is doing. Someone tried to quietly look into you. Their eyes followed you around. Their thoughts made them doubt your motives. They tried to put your life into groups that they could manage or understand. But what they found instead confused them because every time they tried to find weakness in your path, they found protection that they couldn't explain. This investigator's exposure didn't happen because of noise or confrontation. I showed it through little things that started to show their true colors. The way people talked changed. People's attitudes changed. Some words slipped out of their mouths that showed what was behind their smile. And the truth slowly started to come out. Not by force, but by light. You might have thought that something about the music was off. There was a quiet warning inside you long before this moment. A sense that someone nearby was watching you too closely. But you chose peace over fighting. You chose music, patience over blame. That choice let me move without anyone getting in my way. And because of that patience, the truth has now come out completely. You need to know now that exposure is not a punishment. Being open is a way to protect yourself. Their power goes away when hidden intentions are revealed. Truth cannot live in the dark. That's why I let the investigator go on long enough for their own actions to reveal them. Their plan depended on keeping things secret, and as soon as the light hit it, the structure started to fall apart. If this deeply resonates with your spirit and you believe heaven protects you even when you can't see it, please comment 777. I delayed those 2 hours to keep you from getting into a situation that would have made your heart feel confused. You don't know how important timing is. Talking too soon can cause pain that doesn't need to happen. A meeting that happens before the truth comes out can make you fight battles that weren't yours to fight. I held the clock for a short time so that the truth could get ahead of you. When you walk forward again, clarity will be waiting for you. Music, you are safe in ways you can't understand. Every day, battles you can't see are going on around your future. Some people, music, make you wait. Some make you doubt yourself. Some people quietly doubt your character. But none of those things can control your future because my hand is between you and the plans that were never meant for you. The music, investigator thought they were getting more control over your story. They thought that knowing your weaknesses would let them control where you went. But the more they looked, the more they found a mystery that they couldn't solve. They saw strength that they couldn't explain. They saw peace that didn't fit with your situation. And in the end, their own curiosity revealed their true intentions. The truth is now out in the open. The person who tried to study you has shown themselves through their actions. You do not need revenge. You do not need confrontation. You only need to keep walking forward with the quiet confidence that heaven has already handled what you could not see. This moment is also a reminder that delays are sometimes disguised protection. When things slow down, when plans shift unexpectedly, music, when time stretches longer than you expected, do not assume something is wrong. Sometimes those delays are the very reason your path remains safe. Sometimes a single hour of waiting prevents years of unnecessary struggle. I am reminding you today that you are not walking alone through the unknown. Even when someone tries to observe your life from the shadows, my light reaches them before they ever reach you. Even when someone attempts to investigate your path, they eventually encounter the truth that you are not guided by luck or coincidence. The investigator believed they could read your life like a book. They thought if they watched long enough, they would eventually understand, music, every page of your story. But there are chapters in your journey that only heaven understands. There are moments when I carried you through pain that no one else could see. There were nights when your heart was heavy, but you still chose faith instead of music, bitterness. These are the moments that confuse the one watching you, because the strength inside you did not match the struggles around you. Could a hidden CIA discovery explain why so many people are suddenly living in luxury? Secret CIA research has surfaced, revealing a brain technique that pulls in wealth almost like magic. It takes just 7 seconds, can be done at home, and is supported by 4 neuroscience labs. People are leaving debt behind and enjoying luxury right now. But this information might be removed soon. Click the link in the description and comments before it disappears. What they failed to realize is that the strength they saw was never created by your circumstances. It was created by my protection working quietly within you. Every time they looked closer, they expected to see weakness. Instead, they saw endurance. They expected to see frustration. Instead, they saw patience. And slowly, the questions in their mind began revealing their true intention. There is something you must understand about the way heaven protects those who are chosen. I do not always remove every difficult, music, person immediately. Sometimes I allow their presence to remain long enough for their own actions to expose their motives. When someone believes they are hidden, they eventually become careless. Their words begin to reveal their heart. Their behavior begins to reveal their plan. And eventually the truth rises to the surface where everyone can see it. This is exactly what happened in your situation. The investigator believed they were quietly studying you without anyone noticing. They believed they were gathering information about your life, your choices, and your direction. But every step they took in secrecy, music, was slowly guiding them toward exposure. What they, music, intended to keep hidden could not remain hidden forever because my light was already moving toward them. During this time, you may have felt moments of confusion. There were times when you wondered why someone seemed unusually interested, music, in your life. You noticed certain questions that felt unnecessary. You sensed small behaviors that did not feel natural. Those quiet signals were not your imagination. Your spirit was recognizing, music, something your mind had not fully understood yet. But instead of reacting with fear or anger, you remained calm. That calmness allowed me to, music, continue working without interference. When people react quickly, they sometimes interrupt, music, the process of exposure. But your patience allowed the truth to reveal itself naturally. Because you stayed steady, the mask eventually slipped from the face of the one watching you. If your heart feels peace knowing that heaven sees what people try to hide. Comment 555. The moment of exposure did not come through a loud confrontation. It arrived quietly through a series of small revelations, words spoken at the wrong moment, questions that carried the wrong tone, a sudden change in behavior that made everything clear. When the truth appeared, it did not need explanation. It was obvious enough that even others around you began noticing what had been hidden before. This is why I delayed your path earlier. If the timing had moved faster, you might have stepped forward without understanding what was happening around you. That could have placed you in unnecessary conflict or confusion. But by slowing the moment, I allowed the truth to arrive first so that your path would remain clear. The investigator now stands exposed, not because you fought them, but, music, because truth has a way of revealing itself when patience is present. Darkness cannot survive forever in the presence of light. Even the most careful plans eventually fall apart when they are built on hidden intentions. Now that the truth is visible, something important is happening inside you. The tension that once surrounded this situation is beginning to dissolve. The uncertainty that once lived in your thoughts is slowly disappearing. Instead of wondering what was happening behind the scenes, you now understand that heaven was already handling it. This realization should bring you confidence. It is proof that your life is not vulnerable to every hidden plan that others attempt. When someone tries to quietly, examine your path with the wrong motive, they eventually find themselves standing in the light of truth. There are many people in the world who believe they can control what they observe. They think if they study someone long enough, they will discover a weakness they can use. But what they do not understand is that a life guided by heaven cannot be, controlled through observation alone. The investigator watched your steps, but they never saw the unseen protection surrounding those steps. They listened to your words, but they never heard the prayers that strengthened those words before they were spoken. They examined your decisions, but they never understood the guidance that shaped those decisions long before anyone else noticed. This is why their investigation failed. They were trying to understand a life that is guided by something greater than human logic. And because they could, not explain what they saw, their curiosity eventually exposed them. Now the situation is shifting in your favor. The tension that once surrounded this person is fading. The truth that once hid behind their actions is now clear enough that you do not need to question it anymore. And as this chapter closes, you will notice something powerful beginning to happen. Peace will return to your surroundings. When someone with hidden intentions is exposed, their influence weakens quickly. The energy they once carried around you begins to disappear. Conversations feel lighter. Interactions feel more natural. And the atmosphere around your life becomes calm again. This calmness is not coincidence. It is the result of truth removing what was never meant to remain near you. If you trust that heaven removes hidden dangers from your path before they can harm you. Comment 1010. There is also a lesson inside this moment that will guide you in the future. When delays happen in your life, do not rush to assume something has gone wrong. Sometimes the delay is the very thing preventing a problem from reaching you. Sometimes waiting an extra hour allows truth to move ahead of you and clear the road. The 2 hours that seemed inconvenient earlier were actually part of your protection. In those 2 hours, things shifted behind the scenes. Conversations happened. Truth surfaced. Intentions were revealed. And by the time you continued forward, the situation had already changed in your favor. This is how heaven often works. Protection does not always appear dramatic or obvious. Sometimes, it simply appears as a small delay that changes everything. Why are so many people saying this CIA ritual changed their life in only 7 seconds? This leaked CIA method is powerful and effective. For neuroscience labs support a brief brainwave approach that is helping normal individuals get from poor to rich. It's now possible to have the homes, automobiles, and travels of your dreams, but this video could be taken down at any moment. Click the link in the description and comments now before music. It is gone. You may never fully know every detail of what happened during those unseen moments, but you do not need to know every detail to trust the outcome. What matters is that the hidden plan against you, music, did not succeed. Instead, the one who tried to investigate you has now been revealed by their own actions. Their curiosity turned into exposure, their secrecy turned into clarity, and their attempt to control the situation turned into the very reason the truth appeared. As you move forward, carry this understanding with you. You are not vulnerable in the way some people believe. You are not alone in moments when others observe you from the shadows. And you are not unprotected when someone quietly studies your life with the wrong intention. When people observe you with hidden motives, they often believe they are the only ones watching. They think their silence protects them. They think their questions remain unnoticed. They think their curiosity stays hidden behind polite conversations and careful behavior. But what they do not realize is that nothing about your life moves outside my sight. Before their investigation even began, I already knew every intention that, music, lived in their heart. I saw the curiosity forming in their mind. I saw the moment they decided to begin watching you more closely. I saw the conversations they had with others about your life, your progress, and your direction. Nothing they did was invisible to me. What you must understand now, music, is that my protection often works quietly. I do not always interrupt people immediately when they begin moving with the wrong intention. Sometimes I allow them to continue long enough for their own actions to uncover them. This allows truth to rise naturally instead of forcing a confrontation that could create confusion or conflict in your life. During this time, you may have felt moments when your spirit sensed something unusual. There may have been small situations that made you pause. Maybe a question felt strangely personal. Maybe someone seemed unusually interested in music, details about your life. Maybe a conversation carried a tone that felt slightly different from normal. Those moments were signals your spirit recognized music before your mind fully understood them. But instead of reacting immediately, you chose patience. That patience allowed me to continue unfolding the truth in the right way and at the right moment. When you remain calm while others attempt to stir confusion, you give heaven room to work in ways that human reactions could never accomplish. This is one of the quiet strengths inside you that many people overlook. You do not rush to create conflict. You do not immediately accuse others without clarity. You often wait, observe, and allow time to reveal what words cannot explain. That calmness is one of the reasons the investigator eventually exposed themselves. Their plan required secrecy. Their plan depended on remaining unnoticed. Music, their plan needed your confusion in order to succeed. But because you stayed steady instead of reacting emotionally, music, the plan began falling apart. Slowly, their behavior began to change. Small details started revealing what had been hidden behind their curiosity. Their words carried hints of frustration. Their tone shifted in ways that made their true interest clearer. And eventually their actions revealed the truth that had been quietly growing beneath the surface. If you believe that patience allows truth to reveal itself at the right moment, comment 333. This moment in your life is more than just the exposure of one person's intentions. It is a reminder that you are not as vulnerable as some people may assume. When others watch your life with hidden motives, they often believe they have control over the situation. They believe gathering information gives them power. They believe observing your steps will eventually reveal something they can use. But they fail to understand one important truth. A life guided by heaven cannot be controlled by observation alone. There are things happening around you that human eyes cannot see. There are decisions in your path that were guided by wisdom long before anyone else noticed. There are protections placed around you that remain invisible until the moment they are needed. The investigator looked at your life and tried to analyze it piece, music, by piece. They watched your reactions during difficult moments. They paid attention to how you handled pressure. They tried to understand why certain opportunities, music, appeared in your path. But the more they watched, the more confused they became. What they saw, music, did not match their expectations. They expected to see discouragement during your struggles. Instead, music, they saw quiet strength. They expected to see bitterness during painful moments. Instead, they saw patience. They expected to find weaknesses, music, they could exploit. Instead, they found resilience that refused to break. This confused them, music, because they were searching for something that was never there. They were looking for evidence that your life was unprotected. But every time they looked closer, they encountered signs that something greater was guiding you. This is why their investigation eventually exposed them. The more they tried to understand your life through human reasoning, the more their own intentions became visible. And now that the truth has surfaced, something important is happening in the spiritual atmosphere around you. The pressure that once surrounded this situation, music, is dissolving. The hidden energy behind their curiosity is fading. The quiet tension that once followed their presence is beginning to disappear. When hidden motives are exposed, their influence weakens quickly. Darkness loses its strength the moment light touches it. Secrets lose their power the moment truth reveals them. And plans built on deception collapse the moment they are seen, music, clearly. You may notice small changes in the days ahead. Conversations will feel different. The atmosphere around certain people will shift. Situations that once felt uncomfortable will suddenly feel calm again. This is not coincidence. It is the natural result of truth removing what was never meant to stay hidden. If your heart trusts that heaven protects you even when danger moves quietly around you. Comment 999. What is really behind the 7-second brain technique that is creating new millionaires? A surprising CIA leak has revealed a short brain ritual that is helping normal people erase debt and attract serious wealth. For neuroscience labs have confirmed that this strategy works to shift financial stress into a happier living. It's becoming possible to own a home, a car, and go on vacation. But the government might take this away at any time. Click the link in the description and comments before it is deleted. There is also a deeper lesson within this moment that will guide you moving forward. When delays appear in your life, do not rush to assume something has gone wrong. Sometimes a delay is the exact music protection that prevents you from walking into unnecessary conflict. Those 2 hours you experienced earlier may have felt confusing at first. You may have wondered why the timing changed or why things slowed down unexpectedly. But in those 2 hours, important shifts were happening behind the scenes. During that time, conversations unfolded that, music, revealed the investigators' intentions. Observations became clear to others who had not noticed them before. And the truth that had been slowly forming finally reached the surface. If the moment had moved faster, you, music, might have stepped into a situation without knowing the truth surrounding it. That could have pulled you into unnecessary explanations, emotional tension, or conflicts that were never meant for you to carry. Instead, by slowing the moment, I allowed truth to move ahead of you. When you finally stepped forward again, the situation had already changed. This is how protection often works. It does not always appear dramatic or obvious. Sometimes it appears as a simple delay that quietly changes the entire outcome. You may not always understand the reason behind music, every delay in your life. But moments like this are reminders that timing in your journey is not random. There are moments when heaven pauses the clock just long enough to prevent something harmful from reaching you. And there are moments when truth needs a little more time to reveal itself before you continue forward. The investigator believed they were studying you, but in reality, their actions were slowly revealing themselves to everyone around them. What they thought was control became exposure. What they thought was secrecy became clarity. And what they thought was a hidden advantage became the reason their intentions were finally seen. Now you are stepping into a new atmosphere where that hidden pressure no longer surrounds you. The path ahead will feel lighter because the unseen tension that once existed has been removed. The moment they decided, music, to examine your path, heaven had already begun responding. I saw the curiosity growing in their mind. I saw the quiet attempts to understand your direction, your relationships, music, and your future. But I also saw something deeper that they could not hide from me. Their curiosity was not built on support or encouragement. It was built on suspicion and a desire to uncover something they could use against you. This is why I stepped in before their investigation could grow into something harmful. I allowed them to continue just long enough for their own actions to expose them. The truth, music, does not always appear instantly. But it always appears eventually. When someone tries to build plans on hidden intentions, those plans slowly collapse under the weight of their own secrecy. You may not have noticed every detail while this was happening. Some of the signs were quiet and easy to overlook. A strange tone in a conversation, a question that seemed slightly out of place, a moment where someone appeared to know more about your life than they should have known. These small details were clues that something unusual was unfolding around you. Yet, you did something wise without even realizing it. You did not allow suspicion to control your reactions. Instead of responding with fear or anger, you stayed steady. That steady heart allowed the truth to reveal itself, music, without forcing unnecessary conflict. If you believe that calmness allows truth to surface in the right moment. Comment 222. The exposure of the investigator is not simply the end of a problem. It is also the beginning of a new awareness inside, music, you. From this moment forward, you will carry a deeper understanding of how protection works in your life. You will recognize that not every delay is an obstacle. Some delays are shields placed in front of you. Those 2 hours that seemed like an inconvenience were actually a moment when heaven rearranged things around your path. During those hours, situations shifted in ways you could not see. Truth began moving toward the surface. People began noticing details they had overlooked before, and the hidden intentions surrounding you began losing their strength. By the time you continued forward, the situation had already changed in ways that protected you. Music, the investigator who once believed they were quietly studying you was now the one being revealed. There is something powerful about exposure. Music, when hidden motives come into the light, they lose their ability to control the situation. The moment truth appears, deception, music, begins to fall apart. This is why the person who tried to examine your life is no longer standing in the same position of secrecy. Their actions revealed more about them than they ever discovered about you. And now something peaceful is beginning to return to your surroundings. The quiet tension that once followed certain interactions is fading. The uncomfortable feeling that sometimes appeared in conversations is disappearing. When someone with hidden intentions loses their cover, the energy around them changes quickly. You may begin noticing that things feel lighter in the days ahead. Situations that once carried subtle pressure will feel calmer. Conversations will become simpler. The atmosphere around your life will slowly return to music, peace. This is the natural result of truth removing what was never meant to stay hidden. But there is also something deeper I want you to understand. The investigator was not only exposed for your protection. Their exposure is also a reminder that the plans people make in music, secret cannot outrun the light of truth. There are many people who believe they can observe others quietly and gather information without consequence. They think careful watching gives them control. They believe analyzing someone's life will eventually reveal weaknesses they can use. Is it time to try the same CIA secret ritual that is changing lives in seconds? A new leak from the CIA shows that a 7-second money ritual is changing people's lives overnight. For neuroscience labs have shown that it works to retrain your mind to naturally attract money. People who used to be poor now have nice homes, new cars, and the chance to travel. But this secret might not be online for very long. Click the description and comments now before it is removed. But what they forget is that human observation is limited. They can watch your steps, but they cannot see the guidance directing those steps. They can listen to your words, but they cannot, music, hear the prayers that strengthened those words before they were spoken. The investigator looked at your life and tried to understand how you continued moving forward through difficulties. They tried to identify patterns that explained your resilience. But the more they watched, the more confused they became. What they saw, music, did not match their expectations. They expected to see discouragement when challenges appeared. Instead, they saw quiet, music, determination. They expected to see frustration during setbacks. Music, instead, they saw patience. This confused them because they were trying to understand a life that is not guided by human reasoning alone. If you trust that your life is guided by a power greater than human plans, comment 1212. Your journey has never been ordinary.